I just found out when your fingers shrivel up like this, it's your body adapting to have grip underwater. See, Twitter is too woke for me. I just thought this meant it was time to hop out of the bath when I found out how broccoli is made. What? Today I learned that goats who won't stop headbutting have to wear pool noodles, and it feels like information I should share. When you realize that the blue side is meant to clean up smudges made by the pink side, I always thought it could erase pen. Mom just woke me up to tell me flames don't have shadows. I can't sleep now. You ever notice a hammer looks like a wee guy swinging a baseball bat? My entire childhood thought they had hundreds of towels. I just found out that sunflowers usually face the sun, but when they cannot find it, they face each other, and I don't know, it made me smile a lot. Sunflower 1. Bro, where's the sun? Sunflower 2. You are my son. Bro, Winnie the Pooh it's a girl. What? When you realize the flap on your fries box actually has a purpose. How old were you when you found out all Skittles have the same flavor, but the scent tricks our brains into thinking they taste different? The queen bee is too fat to fly after being pregnant, so when the worker bees want her to relocate the hive, they chase her around the hive for a week until she's skinny enough to fly. This is the funniest thing I've ever heard. 3 best sleeping positions. I thought I at least knew how to sleep. I can't even do that right. Today I learned that these 2 characters have the same Japanese voice actor. This is what an owl looks like without feathers. Look at it. I don't want to look at it. Did you know the Wolverine mask is basically Batman kissing Batman in front of Iron Man? NASA's plan to dispose of corpses in space is to freeze them in the airlock and then violently shake the body with a robotic arm until it turns to space dust. Bad astronauts get put in the corpse wiggler. Let me out! This is what a tiger's skin looks like when it's shaved. I was today years old when I found out tiger skin was also striped. When you realize the Tinder logo is a flame because you get matches. What is it with boys being obsessed with this hair clip? It's just interesting. Today I learned scientists created a sound so loud that it can instantly boil water. Experiments be like, NASA scientists detect evidence of a parallel universe where time moves backwards. In 2002, a researcher found that the average 8-year-old British child could identify 90% of Pokemon, but only 50% of common wildlife species. Common wildlife species don't normally yell their name at you. What do you mean don't normally? I don't know any wildlife species which says their name to you. Famous playwright Henrik Ibsen, after overhearing his nurse assure a visitor he was doing better, spluttered his last words. On the contrary, you ever die just to flex on a medical professional? Super freaked out by seagulls since I learned that they can live into their 30s. Looking at every seagull, like I wonder if they remember the 90s. I asked an ornithologist about this today and he said that they can't remember the 90s. They are dumb, he said. They're not dumb, they're smart. They're just fake being dumb. How old were you when you found out the creator of Subway Surfers made the game in memory of his son who died while skating in the train track? How true is this? But if so, this is really sad. The dopest thing about horses is that they're basically grass engines. Like, grass goes in, fast comes out. Most things that produce fast, like cheetahs and cars, use much more heavily processed grass, like horses and oil. And yet, here horses are, producing the fast with only the grass. Are you okay? I learned today that a group of students used a Google document to take lecture notes. They all took notes simultaneously in a collective file. Your belly button is just your old mouth. I was having a good day. We were all having a good day. Every Chinese restaurant got these same pictures on their menus. The dogs stink in barks. This post haunts me every day. I'm 22 years old and I just realized that this little piggy went to the market. Doesn't mean he went food shopping. Jack Black caused an earthquake in New Zealand while performing Tribute because the crowd was bouncing so hard that it registered on the Richter scale. The power of Jack Black. Today I learned that whales don't die of old age. They just lose the strength to pull themselves to the surface and just slowly drown. Why am I so sad? Yeah, I did some research and I don't think this is true. Today I learned that there's a bird called the Sagittarius. This is exactly what a bird called Sagittarius should look like. How old were you when you figured out how the Chinese container was a plate? I was this years old when I realized Let the Dogs Out is a song about ugly women in the club, not actually letting dogs out. Did you know your Subway bag is supposed to be turned sideways to keep your food upright? How old were you when you realized it's called candy corn because if you stack it up, it looks like corn? The bottom of the Gatorade bottle is made to hold the cap. Did you know your nipple is the same size as your butt? I know because I've tried what? What have you tried? My mom is growing eggs. I was today years old when I realized this is why aubergines are also called eggplants. In the 1960s operation Acoustic Kitty, the CIA tried to equip cats with radio transmitters to eavesdrop on Soviet conversations. It didn't work. When you notice there's an 8 in the middle of the 8 of diamonds card. When you learned that Helmo began life as as a birthday cake. Today I learned that the French writer and philosopher Georges Bataille founded a secret society called Excephal to explore ritualism and human sacrifice, but apparently everyone volunteered to be the sacrificial victim, and no one wanted to be the executioner, so no sacrifices were ever carried out. When no tops show up to the party. I was today years old when I realized your pizza box actually folds into a stand. I learned that in 1998, Sony had the chance to buy the rights to almost every Marvel character for $25 million. They opted to only buy the rights to Spider-Man for just $7 million, stating, "Nobody gives a damn about the other Marvel characters." They were right. I love Hulk. Why are there no night museum? Oh, oops. There are 3 movies explaining what happens at night to the museums. I was today years old when I found out that the color tags of the bread are based on the day it was baked. The best thing I've learned this week is that when squirrels fall, they land like superheroes. Poor girl went to prom by herself. I sleep good at night knowing this joke will never die. Baby owls sleep on their stomachs because their heads are too heavy. They do that until they are large enough to sleep upright. The first 3 letters sent through the internet was lol, since they tried to send login. The computer crashed at l, and after they rebooted the system and sent l, making lol. A dark omen that went unheeded. Today I learned that baby elephants will suck on their trunks for comfort, the way humans will suck on their thumb. Today I learned that beluga whales have knees. I'm sorry I can't be her. This couple went to the gym together for 6 months. Did the guy wait outside? Today I learned that Kung Fu Panda was so successful in China that it caused a national debate on why Westerners have made a better film about Chinese culture than the Chinese themselves. Today I learned about the unifying cube rule theory that claims to settle not only the "is a hot dog a sandwich?" question, but many other similar food debates. A man cheats on his girlfriend named Lorraine with a girl named Clearly. Suddenly, Lorraine died. At the funeral, the man stands up and sings, "I can't see clearly now, Lorraine is gone." I'm done with this website. I learned in 2016, a legally blind hoarder whose son had not been seen in 20 years was found to have been living with the corpse. He was a fully clothed skeleton upstairs and was found with garbage and cobwebs. She thought the son had simply moved out. Today I learned 44% of adults have held onto their childhood teddies and dolls, and as many as 34% of adults still sleep with a soft toy every night. Well, of course what is it about being on a plane that makes people go buck wild for ginger ale? Literally everybody be ordering it. Ginger ale is supposed to help your stomach if you're nauseous, so people get it on planes if they get plane sick. Ginger grows in the ground so it keeps you connected to God's earth, while you're thousands of feet up in the heathen tube. A new color. Ew, how do I even say that? Yin Jing Grau is a shade of grey that we can all see, but never knew what it was called. The color is visible when you open your eyes in a pitch black room. All you need to do is find the darkest room in your house. Walk in, close your eyes for a minute, open them, and you'll see it. You won't trick me, demon. Yes, I have a new color in my wine cellar. Come down and take a look. Come to my basement, guys. Just trust me, you can see a new color. When people are electrocuted and thrown far distances, it is a result of sudden and violent muscle contraction, not the result of the shock. This has raised questions as to the actual strength and capabilities of the muscles in the human body. Are you telling me we are capable of using ourselves when under extreme stress? B.F. Skinner, a famous psychologist, instilled superstitions in pigeons by giving them food in a cage at set time intervals. The pigeons responded by forming rituals which they believed brought them the food, such as bobbing their heads or turning counterclockwise. Pigeon religion. After hitting her head as a toddler, a woman claimed to have unlocked memories from a past life as a priestess in ancient Egypt. She then went on to make great contributions to Egyptology, even successfully predicting the locations of paintings in complete darkness. You're the funniest person on earth. Hey, what if we didn't combine dozens of unrelated political opinion positions into 2 color-coded options? That sounds like something someone from the other color would say. Get 'em, boys. 1989 versus 2020. The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Wait, this makes it look like Yoda harvested George Lucas's youth in order to rejuvenate. So I went to a new thrift store yesterday and found this. $8. I hope you bought it. Fun fact, ever wondered why it's called the Liliad? Did I even say that right? Iliad? I don't even know what word that is. Iliad. Oh, Iliad. Yeah, it is. Because Ilium was another name for Troy, and the ad suffix was used to mean the story of. This means that if you translated the title, the Iliad should actually be called Troy's story. Thanks, I hate it. You got a friend in horse. You got a friend in me. I learned that Romans were known to create tombs for their dogs, epitaphas, to remember them by. One such inscription read, "I am in tears while carrying you to your last resting place, as much as I rejoiced when bringing you home with my own hands 15 years ago." Got a text from my boss on my day off. Hey, no, understandable. when I saw the bear in the Toblerone logo. Oh my, I see it now. What the hell? How didn't I notice this? If you replace the W in where, what, and when with T, you answer the question. The world seemed so simple before this moment. Just found out when someone tells you to break a leg in an audition, it is because they are hoping you to end up in the cast. Now my head is exploding. Nobody can say they knew this. I did not know that. I've never been to Chick-fil-A. After all my years of drinking these, I finally figured out you can reverse the top and close it again. Today I learned that historians believed cats domesticated themselves. True, I believe it. Vikings used the bones of slain animals when smithing new weapons, believing this would enchant the weapon with the animal's spirit. This actually made the weapon stronger because the carbon in the bones coupled with the iron made a primitive version of steel. Screw off, egghead. It's because of bone magic. Yeah, nice try, science. You're not catching me. It's because of magic, bone magic. Today I learned that pockets and dresses were phased out so women could prove they were not witches and carrying ill intentions and spells. This is why women love pockets in skirts and dresses now. We carry our spells and curses without purses and you won't see them. What is a group of pandas called? Answer, a group of pandas is called an embarrassment. Screwdriver handles are designed to put a wrench on it to help loosen tight screws. Wi-Fi doesn't stand for anything. It's a made-up word. IE 802.1 didn't have much of a ring to it, and the industry associated wanted a catchy name. They came up with Wi-Fi, and that's what's been used ever since. Wi-Fi stands for wireless fireless, because it's both wireless and fireless. Until the mid-20th century, golf clubs were not numbered, but had wonderfully funny names. Brassies, niblicks, baffies, mashies, jiggers, spoons, and cleeks. Hey guys, want to hear the 7 new slurs for British people I just came up with? When someone says, hold your horses, they're telling me to be stable. How old were you when you found out that the drawer on your stove is for keeping food warm and not for pots and pans? So how old were you when you found out that the remains of Scar ended up as Hercules' headpiece? How old were you when you found out Goofy was actually a cow and not a dog? You were today years old when you learned the little arrow next to the gas symbol points to which side your tank is on. I just realized it's a bird of paradise because it looks like the left picture, not the right. How old when you found out that this means how long you have to use the product from the date you break the seal before it's no longer considered a good product? In Monsters Inc., when they yell, "We have a 2319," the 23rd letter in the alphabet is W, and the 19th letter is S, and it stands for white sock. How old were you when you found out that the lines at the bottom of the freezer was made to stand the meat trays up? Everyone, this is how you read your tire size. Saying this because not everybody has a dad to teach them this stuff. I mean, no wonder he forgot her face as she ran from the palace. Okay, this is news. I always thought Arnold's untucked shirt was a skirt. My girlfriend could tell I was holding some stuff back one time by my breathing pattern. She literally said, "Your breathing pattern is off. What's up? Don't lie to women." In Baby Driver, the words baby and driver appear on the screen. This is a reference to the fact that the movie is called Baby Driver. Time for Japanese. Today you'll learn how to save your family. So my little sister... What did I just say? So my little sister just burst into my room, grabbed me and whispered, "OMG, the reason Patrick is so clueless is because he lives under a rock." To be honest, I did not get that until now, when you learn how long owls' legs really are. Astigmatism is when the cornea is slightly curved rather than completely round. With astigmatism, light focuses on several points of the retina rather than just one point. This is with versus without. Wait, not everyone sees those lines? Damn, I've really used these wrong my whole life. I found this out. When you realize the straw hole in a Capri Sun is the dot of the eye. I swear I learned more on here than 12 years of school. I was today years old when I learned that measles completely erases your body's immunological memory of how to fight disease. That's all disease. So I learned that Trixie's voice actor is legally blind and all of her scripts were written in Braille. When you realize the clock icon on the iPhone also gives you the time, it moves. You're welcome. Oh yeah, forget looking at the top part. No worries. I was today years old when I found out that one Crossroad meme is a Yu-Gi-Oh card. When I found out that when fresh peppers are dried, the name changes. When you find out the middle row in a package of Oreos was actually for salsa. When you find out their voices are the same. Today I learned Raven the chimpanzee appeared in the 2009 Guinness World Record book as the most successful chimpanzee on Wall Street after losing her stocks by throwing darts at a list of 133 internet companies. She became the 22nd most successful money manager in the USA. When you found out about a donkey that nannies. These donkeys are used in Italy to transport newborn lambs down from the mountains for seasonal grazing. When I realized the Krusty Krab was a crab trap. Murder documentaries be like, he was a good man until he wasn't. My life will never be the same. So how old were you when you found out the game TAG stands for Touch and Go? Today, I've been waiting on this couple, 94 and 95 years old, at the diner for the last 5 years. Yesterday, Bob lost his wife of 77 years and he invited me for cheese, wine and crackers. And I think I learned more about love and life today than I ever have in the past 23 years. When you realize that the kid on Polar Express didn't have names. The quality of this was so bad, but it really made you feel like an artist. Fun fact, those dry markers were supposed to have water put into them to make them work. You take off the bottom thing and pour water in and bam, instant marker success. Only learned about this 4 years after I'd lost my set. Always wondered why Eliv is in uppercase and the N is in lowercase. When you found this out, I don't want kids is a selfish thing to say. Having kids you don't want and can't take care of them is selfish. What's a little known but obvious fact that will immediately make all of us feel stupid? Percentages are reversible. 8% of 25 is the same as 25% of 8. And one of them is much easier to do in your head. He's too dangerous to be left alive. I learned we had Black Plague suits that rivaled Europe's beak mask worn during the outbreak of the bubonic plague in Manila, June 1912. While most countries place the currency symbol either before or after the amount, the Cape Verdean escudo places its symbol in the decimal place. This is the only wrong way to do it. What does bi-monthly mean? Twice a month, every 2 months, 50-50%. Once a month, you bat for the other team. Attracted to different months. For a second I thought it said moths. I was like, who the hell is attracted to moth? Harvest mice like to crawl inside flowers to eat the pollen and sometimes fall asleep inside. To be a harvest mice falling inside of a flower. Wow. Today I learned that this exists. It's a Vizcacha. I feel you, buddy. I think I found my new spirit animal. How old were you when you found out this is what blah blah blah? I didn't even know. You're supposed to just keep the lid on there. Like, open it ajar, pour the water in, bang. Today I learned that the stereotypical witch look comes from early medieval female beer brewers called alewives. They kept a cat to chase away rodents, brewed beer in a big cauldron, used a broomstick-like ale stake to signal that they sold beer, and wore a pointy hat to stand out in a crowd. They were brewing one potion, and that potion was the potion of party. In the Middle Ages, some kings had clothes made from salamander fur, which were completely fireproof and bright white. The name likely comes from the common belief that salamanders were born from fire. The clothes were actually made out of asbestos. Bend thine ear and hearken. If thou or thy king has been exposed to salamander fur, thou mightest be entitled to monies in recompense. Why is no one talking about this? When you learn that ejaculation comes out at 27 miles per hour, making it illegal, that's not the reason why it's illegal, dude. Scientists discovered the loneliest creature on Earth. It is a whale that has been calling for a mate for 2 decades. The whale communicates at a frequency not used by any other whales, and so far has not received a response. Damn. Bro's been getting edged for 20 years, dude. Poor guy. When you found out that Androids and iPhones can FaceTime with a click of this button, once you create a link, you send it to the contact and they will get a link to join FaceTime. When you realize that the number on a toaster are minutes and not levels of toastiness. You didn't know this? This is not really a today years old thing, you should know this. The shortest marriage in recorded history was 3 minutes. On the way out of the courthouse, the bride tripped over and fell. Instead of helping her up, the groom called her stupid. On the spot, the bride insisted the magistrate annul the wedding, and the magistrate complied. Good for her, I can't read, wow. I've been texting my ex every day at 6 AM for 3 years straight to remind her that I don't like her. It sounds like you do like her. Rose hung up. My mum is just starting to learn what memes are, and this is the most wholesome text I've ever received. When you check your phone and see the text is from your daughter. Since we are 3-dimensional beings and can only fathom objects of dimensions equal or lower to our own, it's possible there are 4th or 5th dimensional beings that can see us, but we can't see them. There might be as many as 11 dimensions or 26. We believe it's one of those 2 numbers, but we aren't sure which one yet. Horrible addition! I shall be hyperventilating in a closet. Today I learned that stadiums can have different ads depending on channel and country. Ants will heal other ants after raids, and that mortally wounded ants will refuse treatment. Do not deny me my warrior's death, brother. Today I learned, frequently coyotes and badgers will hunt together. I learned about the existence of border Leicester sheep. You're welcome. Rabbit sheep. that when pelicans are hot, they can take their spine out of their mouths to cool down. Today I learned that the killer whale is a natural predator of the moose. Only a god can kill another god. Me, realizing I'm not actually washing my hands, they're washing each other while I stand there looking at them like a creep. I just learned that pop music is short for popular music. I really thought pop was a music genre. Today I learned that 1 in every 10 Europeans were conceived in an IKEA bed. Like in the store? No. Hi Twitter, I just learned that the UK edition of Dollar Tree is this, and I may never recover. I learned Spanish from my girlfriend so I could finally talk to her parents, and they told me she was cheating on me. Ostriches will often walk around and then forget where they are going. I also learned that my spirit animal may be an ostrich. China makes bridges out of styrofoam and corn. I'm gonna eat all that corn. Today I learned Disney desperately tried to buy a 58-acre strawberry field right next to Disneyland for decades, but the owner, an elderly Japanese man, refused every single offer, including $32 million. When asked why, he explained, "I just want to stay here and farm. King." French Excalibur sword mysteriously vanishes after 13 years in stone. I learned that there was an early 1900s act named Soba Sue, whose draw was She Never Smiled. A theater offered $1,000 to anyone who could make her laugh, attracting big comedians. Crowds came out to watch them try and failed, giving them a free share. Later it came out that Sue suffered from facial paralysis. Finessed. I learned about a food called Lunchables. I'm surprised that the food that Japanese people imagine they can eat in a future dystopia actually exists today. Today years old when I learned this is where sunflower seeds come from. Are you people actually stupid? I didn't know my parents were asleep. Your dad looks like he learned how to sleep on WikiHow. Mannequin. Huge congrats to my cat, who I recently learned knows how to turn on my gas range stove while we're all asleep. Camels store upwards of 30 kilograms of nutrient-rich fat in their humps. During times of famine and drought, the fat is absorbed to nourish the camel, and the hump actually goes limp, like a deflated balloon when the fat is depleted. What the hell? A woman took a picture of these clouds because they looked like the ocean in the sky. Oops, sorry Animal Kingdom. Looks like I just learned how to throw a rock. Guess your entire evolutionary arms race is just screwed. This is my planet now. The word for pull in Thai looks like an old school doctor ready for some fisticuffs. He wants to fight someone. Hard disks are so sensitive to vibration that just screaming at them diminishes their performance. Getting screamed at diminishes my performance too. You ain't special. In 1974, the Egyptian authorities issued a passport to Ramesses II so that the mummy could be transported to France for examination and restoration. Did you ever notice that stuff in double stuff Oreo only has one F? Slapping the homie's butt in the Dust Bowl and zapping both of us across the room? During the Dust Bowl, in Texas and Oklahoma, static electricity was so bad, children would run up to their mothers for a hug, and both wake up on the ground, knocked unconscious by a massive static shock. Two men shaking hands could knock each other out. Crit mode. Cyanide had no effect on Rasputin in the first murder attempt, because cyanide sprinkled over cakes converted to harmless ammonia. It was cooked into rose cakes, to be specific. The blending and cooking process fundamentally broke down the cyanide. I prefer to think he was just immune. Today I learned, more than 12 billion light years away, there is a water reservoir floating in space that is equivalent to 140 trillion times all the water in the world's ocean, the universe. Come get your juice. A fierce comparison between the jaws of a grey wolf and a spotted hyena. How old were you when you found out explorer in Spanish is exploradora? That's why she's Dora the Explorer. I left my biddy in bed when I went to class since it was cold, because no power, and this is what I come home to. A bidet is a bathroom bowl designed to be sat upon for personal hygiene. These are the countries that commonly use bidets. If you go to school in New York, you have to study the anatomy of a Tim. I learned about this in the intro to my class. Rare photo showing Niagara Falls completely frozen over in the year 1911. This plant is called the bird of paradise because it looks like the picture on the left, not the one on the right. A horse actually has up to 15 horsepowers. These include horse levitation, horse pyrokinesis, and the scunge. If you could walk to the moon, it would take 13 years, but walking to the sun would take 3,500 years. Today years old when I found out the middle row in a package of Oreos was actually for salsa. Today I learned that there's something worse than pineapple on pizza. Here's the one marginally useful thing my kids learned on TikTok: putting firecrackers in a Nerf gun. Today I learned the average American drops 80 to 90 curse words a day, about 5 per hour. Today I also learned that I'm above average in something. I was today years old when I realized if a street name has close after it, it means it's a dead end. But if it says avenue, then you can get to said place from several different places and it loops back around. Did you find this out the hard way? Gorillas are in a semi-permanent state of flatulence, meaning they're always farting due to the bacteria in their gut and the almost 40 pounds of vegetation they consume daily. Is it one long fart or constant fart, one after another? The real-life Peaky Blinders, 1910. In 1994, a BBC reporter named Tim Leach was assigned to cover a peculiar story unfolding at a school in Zimbabwe. In his report, he expressed, "I could handle war zones, but I could not handle this." Likewise, a Harvard professor of psychiatry who visited the school was also taken aback by what he witnessed. Aliens? The Great North Dakota Blizzard of 1966. There are 3 female penguins who exchanged the deed for nice rocks. So, if you're having a hard day, just remember that these type of penguins exist. Also, some female penguins have been observed performing the mating dance, but not putting out and still getting nice rocks. So, ace penguins also exist. Learn today about the time a guy brought a 2,222nd card Yu-Gi-Oh deck to a national tournament to demonstrate why the game needed a deck size limit. How does that even work? America. The wasp is walking on the surface of the liquid as the forces acting from its legs balance out with the forces due to the surface tension. Today I learned inner speech, aka the voice inside your head, is accompanied by tiny muscular movements in the larynx. Don't like that. Today I learned that a 6-year-old and his friends are doing some kind of dark rituals at recess to summon it, you know, as you do. Top of planet Earth. Mount Everest from a commercial plane. Today I learned that scientists discovered a dinosaur tail, perfectly preserved in amber. It is full of feathers. I learned how to tie knit socks. I am also accepting orders. Mice are not simply female rats. They are different animals entirely. Come on, man. Can we add a rule that doesn't allow basic facts most 4-year-olds know? Didn't say it was groundbreaking. Today I learned that a hacker is breaking into people's routers and patching them so they can't be abused by other hackers. You are a bad guy, but this does not mean you are a bad guy. It's been like 2 years since I found out red velvet cake is just chocolate cake with red dye, and I'm still not okay. I found out after 41 years that there are no holes in the pool tables in the Beat It video. Newton discovered gravity at 22. 22-year-old me. I've got 2 years. A shark just before it emerges from water, breaking its surface tension. A rare 1 in 100,000 albino sea pup faces rejection from its colony because of its appearance. They're racist. Everyone stop. I just learned a new emoticon. To create the battles for Lord of the Rings, Weta used a program called Massive and was able to create thousands of CG soldiers, give them artificial intelligence, talents, and skills, and just let them fight. The AI worked so well that some of the soldiers assessed the battle and fled. Artificial cowardice. During the Middle Ages, there was a legal category called embrothement that allowed 2 men to share living quarters, pool their resources, and effectively live as a married couple. The couple shared 1 bread, 1 wine, 1 purse. Lads, it's just boys being boys. Lady just asked me what mansplaining is. I think it's a trap. We've been staring at each other in silence for half an hour. I learned that coconut trees grow by the ocean because they are the only trees that are able to convert salty water to fresh water. The person who taught me this is 6 years old. Today, an internet lesson was learned. Bowser breaks into your house. What are you doing? I can't believe I have to say this, but please keep your replies safe for work. The bony-eared assfish may have an unfortunate name, but have some of the most surreal and majestic-looking larval forms. Funny name, yet incredible aura. In 2007, a bowhead whale was discovered with the end of a harpoon left embedded in its neck from a previous hunt. It was found that the harpoon tip was originally manufactured in 1890, indicating the whale had survived a human attack more than a century ago. Absolutely massive PP energy. Because of a mistranslation, Jimmy Carter told the Polish people in 1977 that he desired them carnally and that he had left the United States to never return. Imagine being a Polish citizen and you hear the American president say he's here to smash and he's not leaving. The best thing I learned in quarantine has to be toasted marshmallows. So today I tamed a hawk. How the hell do I learn to do this? The thing I have learned while shopping for rugs is that they are either ugly or they are $800. I'll never understand people who are like, I can trace my lineage back to King Henry VIII. When I learned that my grandma had a mum, I was like, okay, I can't keep track of this. Some of the most popular surnames 100 years ago, like Daft, Bulls, Smealy, Death, and Shufflebottom, are facing extinction due to their rude undertones. The use of the name cock is down by almost 75%. World is in shambles. The first ever speeding ticket was issued to Walter Arnold on the 28th of January, 1896 in Kent, England. He was blitzing through the town at 8 miles per hour, 4 times the legal limit, was chased for 5 miles by a police officer on a bicycle, and was fined 1 shilling when he was finally caught. Glad they caught that sick man. World's oldest cheese found an Egyptian tomb, but it may be filled with a deadly disease. Can't eat the sarcophagus juice. Can't eat the tomb juice. What even is the point of archaeology? The seal of Tutankhamun's tomb before it was opened in 1923. It was unbroken for over 3,000 years. Wrong, I was there. I opened it in the 1800s. I think this is the most hilarious thing. The storybook font is what does it for me. Despite the security systems now installed inside all of Disneyland's attractions, and the monitors being watched by park employees hidden from view, couples will still try to do the deed while on the dark rides, such as Pirates of the Caribbean or It's a Small World, apparently not realizing that the cameras are infrared and can pick up their every move. On occasion, they are stopped with a warning over the loudspeaker. Other times, as they exit, they are met with applause from knowing cast members. Life finds a way. Ice eggs is a rare phenomenon that occurs when ice is rolled over by wind and water. Gregory Perelman, the mathematician who declined both the Fields Medal and the $1 million Clay Prize. Hubble and James Webb telescopes teamed up to drop new images of two spiral galaxies colliding. The brown frillback pigeon is a distinctive and ornamental breed known for its unique feather structure. I just learned that Cardi B's real name is Belcalis Almanzar. I said that out loud and my furniture started floating. Be me, just learned how to make instant noodles. I have ascended Danons, 12-year-old me, when I learned about incognito mode. My brain, dude, time for men. Up to 1948, 7-Up contained lithium citrate, a mood stabilizer used to treat manic states and bipolar disorder. Put it back. Someone abandoned this dog at a shelter for being too big to handle. Turns out he's 87% Grey Wolf, 8.6% Siberian Husky, and 3.9% German Shepherd. Hydrosaurus, commonly known as the sailfin dragons. It's named after the snail-like structure on its tail. It's native to Indonesia and the Philippines and semi-aquatic, and is also able to run short distances across water. Have you ever wished to view the world from a completely new perspective? Well, this is the population density in China. 6% lives here, 94% lives here. A baby pangolin is born quite helpless, but other than the ability to suck and cling, until the baby is big enough to travel on its own, a mother pangolin will tote it around on her tail. At least 9 med schools in Japan manipulated exam results by females so fewer women could enter. In 1896, a temporary one-day city was named in Texas called Crush, where 2 locomotives were to be smashed head-on for purposes of spectacle. It was, for a few hours, the second largest city in Texas, with 40,000 attendees. The collision caused engine boilers to explode, resulting in deaths and injuries. You could do anything back then. Just learned from my mum that my brother is contributing so heavily to chocolate milk sales at the local supermarket that they've requested to be notified when he leaves for college so that they don't overstock. List of words containing meow, meow, meowed, meowing, meows, homeowner. This is destroying my life. A person wearing a full-face prosthetic mask to evade CCTV and facial recognition. 4 types of tigers in the same photo. Golden, Snow White, Bengal, and White Tiger. If you add Eric Trump to enough Twilight promotional photos, he will eventually block you. What I learned from the internet for free. What I learned from school. I'm terribly sorry, ma'am. I have absolutely no idea where he learned that word. From this video. Today I learned. When neighbors start talking, good things happen. Chickens. To my neighbor that complained to the city about my chickens. I want to thank you because I didn't even know I'm allowed to have up to 25, and I don't even have half of that. So thanks for the complaint. I learned something today. This is why I've learned to question anything. Smith. Yes, sir. I didn't see you at the camouflage practice today. Thank you, sir. I was today years old when I found this out. Instead of doing the deed, I learned how to make my family some scrambled eggs. After years and years of research and development, drawing what I learned in middle school over and over again, I am proud to announce an important discovery. The cool S, but some people actually think I learned Braille for cool points, but I actually learned it because my medicine holder has the days printed in Braille, and I forget to take my medication a lot. I didn't feel like turning on a light one night just to see my medications, so I learned Braille out of spite. Now every time I go anywhere, I have to read the Braille signs, and I have seen woman spelled as nomen several times. Tired of waking up to take medication? Learn Braille. Giraffes are largely gay. Male giraffes will caress and court other males more often than females, and up to 94% of giraffe deed takes place between 2 dudes. There, that's a thing you know now. I would like to remind drivers to not park in front of fire hydrants, or else this might happen to you. I just realized that the hole in the pot is made for holding your messy cooking spoons. Wait till you find out who's supposed to pay for the wedding. Today I found out that the wife has to buy the husband's wedding ring. Is there any worse art than, I'm afraid of and unfamiliar with, the latest technology art? Why you can't bring metal close to an MRI machine. A Great Depression Christmas dinner at the home of Earl Pauley near Smithfield, Iowa, 1936. The meal included potatoes, cabbage, and pie. A baby Tasmanian devil yawning. A policeman in San Francisco scolds a man for not wearing a mask during the 1918 2019 influenza pandemic. While alcohol made from apples is called cider, alcohol made from pears is called perry. The platypus? Same whale found after 35 years in the west coast of Mexico. How to read contour lines on topographic maps. William Burke, a Scottish murderer who would sell corpses for a profit to medical researchers. After he was hanged for his crimes, scientists dissected him, wrote with his blood, and bound a book with his skin. His partner William Hare turned King's evidence, which meant that if he implicated Burke, then he wouldn't be punished. Despite them being partners in the murder and corpse selling business, two men can't keep a secret if one of them is dead. 1/3 of the population of Switzerland lives within 5 kilometers of the main train line crossing the country. World Discoverer was a German expedition cruise ship. It hit an uncharted reef in the Sandfly Passage. Solomon Islands, 29th of April in the 2000s. An unbelievably large pile of bison skulls. Michigan. Aren't these like close to extinct now because they were overhunted? A Russian robotic company is paying users $200,000 for the rights to use their face and voice on their robots forever. Yankee Doodle was written by the British to mock Americans. Doodle is thought to come from the German Doid, meaning fool or simpleton or macaroni, a flamboyantly stylish type of dress. Painting the Yankees as morons who thought placing a feather in one's cap made them a dandy. So you're telling me that stuck a feather in his hat and called it macaroni would be like saying wrote a G on his belt and called it Gucci? That's a pretty good analogy actually. Infinite IQ. I hate that this works. This isn't how math works, but somehow it works. Today I held the piñata with a beer in my hand. I'm officially a Tio. If I've learned anything from the Kardashians, it's that I shouldn't let my complete lack of talent hold me back. Toy Story 3, this frame out of these amount of frames. The day Monkey learned why they call him Woody. I just learned that the Adam and the Welcome to Chili's guy are not the same person, but twins. The more you know. Wait, just learned today that cops are just placing bikes that don't belong to anyone on the street and waiting to see who takes them, and then arresting them. Is this literally the extent of crime fighting our tax dollars can pull off? Give me a break. Is this true? Learned a neat way to change areas to a specific color using the lab color gamut and curves adjustment layers. Anyway, I present you Fleshman Group. As a grown-up, I've learned that all the Christmas magic I felt as a kid was really a mum who loved me so damn much. When that one dumb fact you learned years ago for no reason finally comes in use. Alright, let me know in the comments your dumb fact. Thank you for watching, bye! Boba actually means boob. Boba tea, boba means large breasts, a slang for the chewy tapika balls, or pearls, added to the drink. What the We've been drinking titty tea. The spellgill mushroom has over 23,000 distinct sexes, but they can't all successfully mate with one another. Each sex can only be fertile with 22,960 other sexes. Bruh. The singer of Peanut Butter Jelly Time died in an 11-hour police standoff, during which time his brother-in-law Snoop Dogg attempted to calm him down and surrender. Reading that was like 10 consecutive punches to the throat. Today I learned that rats become more emotionally resilient when they are taught how to drive a small vehicle. Just learned that cheetahs are so shy that zoos give them their own emotional support dogs. In 1847, a doctor performed an amputation in 25 seconds, operating so quickly that he accidentally amputated his assistant's fingers as well. Both later died of sepsis, and a spectator reportedly died of shock, resulting in the only known procedure with a 300% mortality rate. Nice job, idiot. Surgery, no mercy speedrun. Almost 50% of men think they could land an aeroplane with no training if the pilots were incapacitated. I mean, I could land it, but if you want the plane and passengers back, probably not. Armadillos are just tactical assault possums. Troops of 15 monkeys escaped a primate research center in Japan by using trees as catapults over a 5-meter high electric fence, and afterwards were lured back with peanuts. Monkey brain. If we pull back this tree, we can use its preserved momentum to hurl ourselves over the dangerous fence. Also monkey brain. Oh, peanut. The stethoscope was invented because a French doctor felt uncomfortable placing his face on a younger woman's chest. The absolute gentleman. Supreme woman respecter. Today I learned gorillas only have B-type blood. B for banana. I was today years old when I realized that the caps on medicine bottles are actually serving sizes. I used this method with Adderall, and I'm currently cutting my grass with scissors. Squirrels' brains grow in size during the fall to help them remember where they buried their nuts. Their brains are smaller the rest of the year. Post-nut clarity. Frogs can be hypnotized by laying them on their backs and stroking their stomachs. Snails can sleep up to 3 years, and 3% of ice in the Antarctic glaciers is just penguin urine. This guy is hogging all the facts. Reminder to parents to please check your kids' Halloween candy. Just found this in my son's Skittles. Bleach? What type of irresponsible person is putting bleach in a Skittles bag? Seize them. Squids have their brain shaped like a donut, and their esophagus runs through it. If the squid eats something too big, it can result in severe brain damage. Damn, cold world. We've all been there. List of squid weaknesses updated. New entry, gluttony. Gluttony. That's so stupid. Goalkeeper Sam, alone on the pitch, not realizing that the game had been abandoned 15 minutes earlier due to the heavy fog. My last brain cell. So the guy who took this photo is just watching him. He's just been sitting there for 15 minutes laughing. I get it. People who are highly intelligent have lower levels of satisfaction the more they socialize with friends. Yep, this would be via reddit.com, wouldn't it? Via reddit.com. Yep. Prehistoric hunter-gatherer tribes had an average group limit of 50 people. Incidentally, modern research shows that in the video game World of Warcraft, maximum group cohesiveness occurs at a limit of 50 players. Literally no difference between cavemen and WoW players. What's your rebuttal? Because right now you're looking awfully familiar to cavemen. So like, do caterpillars know they're going to be butterflies, or do they just build the cocoon and be like, what the hell am I doing? This post has messed me up more than any other on this site. In Nepal, tigers and people have learned to use the exact same forest trails at different times of day to reduce the chances of fatal encounters. Mom said it's my turn to use the jungle path. The brains of rats have a random mode that is switched on when they are in unfamiliar situations. Me, drunk at an apartment party. Me, sober at my job I've had for over a year. How old were you when you realized that this is actually a straw holder? The first taxidermy walrus was much larger. Lava! The first taxidermy walrus was much larger and smoother than a live walrus, as the taxidermist had never seen one before and overstuffed it to get rid of the wrinkles. Rehydrated walrus. Bro, I just realized that the Red Bulls at Target are to stop cars from crashing into it. Fun fact, the middle of nowhere was an actual place located in New Mexico. This morning, I found out that otters have a favorite rock that they store in a pouch under their arm and carry wherever they go. I cannot handle this. Adobe doesn't like it when people use Photoshop as a verb. Instead of saying, this image was Photoshop, they want you to say, this image was enhanced using Adobe Photoshop software. My nuts were enhanced by Adobe Photoshop software. How about that? King James put twin babies on an island to see if the children would speak the language of Eden. The children developed a communication method, but the experiment failed because no one knew what the language of Eden sounded like. The Middle Ages, everyone. English kings really didn't have anything to do, did they? The Arctic shrew is so territorial. If two are placed together, one will drop dead within a few days, even without physical injuries. A 5-day telepathic battle. Living with roommates. I've seen many videos of them. They are very, very terrifying. Today I learned until 2007, Russian astronauts were issued a sawed-off shotgun and machete to fight off Siberian bears and other wildlife upon landing back on Earth. They are now issued a semi-automatic pistol. My face when I'm out there foraging for berries, when a capsule crashes to the ground from the heavens and a cosmonaut comes out and points a gun at me. Humans domesticated dogs before they developed written language, and now the hairy little never will. That is so messed up. We took that chance away. Today I learned that a cat once co-authored a physics paper. In 1975, a physicist had just finished writing a paper and was ready to publish, but realized that he had used we instead of I throughout, despite being the sole author. Not wanting to edit the paper, he listed his cat, Chester, as a co-author. This is the cat, by the way. Everyone, please look at this seal that found a toy version of itself. Just learned that alligators don't float. They literally walk underwater. I'm forever unsettled. The reason why we view Neanderthals as hunched over and degenerate is that the first skeleton to be found was arthritic. Way to mess it up for your whole species, you idiot. I'm so glad every app now has a feature that reminds you how happy you were on this very day just a few years ago. Turtles are not inside their shells. They are their shells. When a British captive officer challenged French Navy officer with the words, "You French fight for money while we fight for honor," he replied, "Each of us fights for what he lacks most." I can't believe this guy killed the entire British Navy like that. The Greek philosopher Plato's real name is unknown, as Plato is his wrestling nickname. The Rock in 2,500 years. Plato means broad in Greek. There are recorded instances in Aristotle's notes of Plato settling debates by standing up and flexing. Different opinion to me. Sorry, I can bench 500. Today I learned an American man built a log cabin in Alaska and then just kept adding more and more floors until he reached 180 285 feet. At this point, he was forced to stop building as federal airspace starts at 200 feet. In the future, he still intends to squeeze in one more floor, the Goose Creek Tower. Today I learned that in 2013, a scientist injected human brain cells into a mouse brain, which improved the mouse's memory and capacity to learn. To stop it from conquering the planet, they injected human brain cells from an incompetent weirdo into a separate mouse, and then put the two mice in the same cage, so the silly mouse will always frustrate the terrifying genius mouse's plan. I wonder what they're doing tonight. The same thing they do every night. A Russian scientist injected himself with a 3.5 million year old bacteria trapped in Siberian permafrost after successful experiments on mice and fruit flies. He says it made him flu-proof for the past 2 years and gave him more energy to work longer hours. Oh, so no one can drink the sarcophagus juice, but this guy can inject himself with an ancient bacteria? I see. Raccoons were able to open 11 of the 13 complex locks in fewer than 10 tries and had no problem repeating the action when the locks were rearranged or turned upside down. They can also remember the solutions to tasks for up to 3 years. The day the octopi and the raccoons form an alliance is the day humanity will perish. We'd have far more to fear if crows and raccoons united. While in college, the writer of Night at the Museum would regularly visit museums while high on drugs. Yeah, that makes sense. In 2019, a saxophonist was hired to compose a song for the critically endangered New Zealand bird, the kakapo, in order to put them in a romantic mood for mating. It seems to have worked as 249 eggs were laid and 76 hatched during the breeding season. Bard. The astronauts of Apollo 11 were refused life insurance, so they signed photos of themselves so that their families could auction them for money. In case the landing failed and the crew were killed, the United States of America. Tapes had side A and side B, so it's only logical that their successor would be the CD. Can you believe there are plants that are illegal plants? Can you believe there is love that is illegal love? Can you believe there are people who are illegal? How old were you when you realized that you're going to be tired every day for the rest of your life? The new keyboard I ordered so I don't waste time arguing on the internet. Without lying, how old were you when you found this out? I was 30 years old. I can't tell if I'm a genius or an idiot because I just realized why they're called donuts. In 1508, Orton, France pressed charges on Retz for destroying barley crops. The lawyer representing the Retz argued that the court's summons wasn't specific enough to his clients and that Orton's cat population made it unsafe for his clients to come to court. The Retz were acquitted. I want to meet the guy who offered to represent the Retz. Some scientists theorize that the origin of life is just the inevitable outcome of thermodynamics as a middle step to increase overall entropy in the universe. You what, mate? Bearer of the curse. Today I learned that in 1949, a member of the New Zealand Parliament was deemed to have used unparliamentary language for saying of another member that his brains could revolve inside a peanut shell for 1,000 years without touching the side. Well, it is pretty rude to just straight up kill a man in Parliament like that. Today I learned the Sprite commercial was entirely improvised. Drake was in the room with a camera pointed at him. Everyone hushed to let him work. He smirked, opened his eyes, and said, "Watch this," before erupting soda from every hole. A survey in the early 1990s revealed that Mario was more recognizable to American children than Mickey Mouse. Serves that nasty mouse right. We like a hard-working Italian man. If you grind a marine sponge, throw a sieve into salt water, it'll reorganize itself back into a sponge. It's the only animal that we know of that can do that. How many animals have we done this to? Reminder behind every meme, there's a guy trying his best to make you smile. It took me 21 years to realize it's hard as hail, not hard as hell. I was today years old when I found this out. At what age did you learn that these holes were made to hold your plastic fork and spoon? Today. I can't believe. Whoa, I did not eat ice cream out of this. Today I learned that many non-English languages have no concept of a spelling bee because the spelling rules on those languages are too regular for good spelling to be impressive. You ever flex on English speakers by having a language that makes sense? We're ruining the planet. I'm sorry, who is this we? I don't recall myself running a billion-dollar oil business. Sometimes I use the Keurig, and I feel bad, but then I remember just 100 companies are responsible for 71% of global emissions. Yeah, this is actually insane. The term scientist was coined in the 1830s to describe Mary Somerville, a woman, because the usual term, man of science, didn't apply and she just wasn't a physicist, geologist, or chemist. She was all three. I will now be referring to all men who do science as male scientists. All scientists are female unless indicated otherwise. Just a reminder. Wait, oh, they're saying carry with your legs, not your back. I was today years old when I found out if you're not there, you're square because you're not around. Not only do deaf cats tend to purr and meow louder than hearing cats, they also enjoy shrieking loudly because of the vibrations it causes. Also, they have a favorite room to shriek in, such as a bathroom or kitchen with tile floors. The sound can reverberate off. That's right, deaf kitties have their own private screaming rooms. Why is the cat screaming? Cat location. Let's say I got my pee-pee stuck in a ketchup bottle, which I didn't. How would I get it out? Wait until it's soft and then pull it out. It's cutting off the blood flow and it won't go soft. Not that I did it. Then you're just gonna have to pray. Today I learned when babies first start emoting, they sometimes turn away in the middle of smiling at you because they're so overwhelmed by joy that they can't handle all the emotion and have to regulate by looking somewhere else. This is known as gaze aversion and is used to reduce their heartbeats. Charles Darwin married his first cousin, with who he had 10 children with. 3 died as infants and 3 were infertile. He was the first to raise the question if incest may cause weakness in offspring after studying inbred plants in his garden. Charles Darwin, looking at his messed up tomatoes. Oh no, that's me. I can't believe I've gone my entire life not realizing the major interstates are in numerical order. How old were you when you realized that est in first, the nd in second, and the erd in third? It's because it's the last 2 letters of the numbers in words. Reminder, Darth Vader once took off his mask and he was dead within 5 minutes. A fish with a transparent head was discovered over 2,000 feet deep in the ocean. It can rotate its eyes to track prey. Nature really is amazing. No, it's all connected. I just learned what a live conch looks like. How is there not a Pixar film about these guys? They look like anteaters. I just discovered that hospitals have baby vests to evacuate all the newborns in case of an emergency. The only good thing in the world today is that I learned orphaned baby bats are often wrapped in blankets to mimic the warm embrace of their mother's wings. The KFC Twitter account only follows 11 people, the 5 Spice Girls, and 6 guys named Herb. This is because of their secret blend of 11 herbs and spices. The first person to notice and point this out was sent a painting of himself holding a drumstick while riding piggyback on the Colonel. What is KFC's marketing tactic? This is incredible. Today I learned when Cleopatra and Julius Caesar met and subsequently became lovers, she was 21 and he was 52. Are you sure you don't mean Leonardo DiCaprio? New York City has a genetically diverse rat population. Uptown rats are different from downtown rats, and every neighborhood has their own distinct rat. Uptown rat living in a no. McDonald's almost got rid of its golden arches in the 1960s. The arches were only kept because of a psychologist they hired said they had great Freudian importance in the subconscious mind of customers. That's such a Sigmund move. They represented Mother McDonald's. No way, this has to be fake. This is why we need to dig up Sigmund and kill him again. Mug boobies. This post was bad enough, you didn't need to make it worse. The first time a cell captured another cell and turned it into mitochondria. I paid my 15-year-old $10 to do the dishes. Then, on his way to the bathroom, I mugged him because it's my job to teach him life lessons. I was today years old when I realized the hole in the pasta spoon is used to measure a serving size. Something about NASA's new spacesuit design looks kind of familiar. Learning that paprika is just dried and crushed raw bell peppers was really shocking. Like, I don't know why I thought there was a paprika tree somewhere. The first known case of dying from laughing involved the Greek man called Chrysippus, who, after giving figs to his donkey, cried out, "Now give the donkey a drink of pure wine to wash down the figs," had a fit of laughter afterwards and died. Pretty funny, I guess. Had to be there. Our walking speed is affected by who we're with. Men's pace slows down by an average of 7% when walking with a female partner they're interested in. Women walking together moved the slowest, and men walking with male friends moved at speeds faster than either man's preferred walking speed. Speedruns my trip to the grocery store by walking with 5 of the boys and only getting stalled at the unskippable cutscene checking out with the cashier. You can skip the cutscene, but you have to use a glitch called shoplifting, which is frowned upon in the gamer community. Back in the day, you sometimes had to climb out of the cockpit to restart the propeller. The ideal pair of female hands based on science would be approximately 0.75 meters long, have several fingers and contain at least 5 bones. A divot on the end of each finger is also considered highly desirable. 0.75 meters is like 2 feet long. What are you talking about? The ideal pair of hands? If you click the link, it just leads to a blank page that says, "The divots are for scooping up salsa." Nobody. Gasoline when water falls on it. Do you blow on your food when it's hot? Or do you till you can chew it? I do. I blow on it, but underestimate how hot it. I dated this blind girl till she broke up with me a few weeks ago. Guess who's back with a different. I mean, you can do this, but you need to change everything. So maybe get plastic surgery as well. When trees evolved, nothing could decompose them until a fungi learned. All coal comes from before the fungi learned. The way this post is worded, so delightful. I absolutely cannot stop reading it over and over. Everyone should know that this animal exists. It's a Cantor giant soft-shell turtle. It spends 95% of its life buried and motionless. We have a lot in common. The chances of us eating one spider in our sleep throughout our lifetime is close to 0. Did something happen to Spider's gorge? No, he was an outlier, but he counted. Instead of till death do us part, how about for as long as this feels healthy, safe, and meaningful for both of us? Nah, no, till poop do us fart. I think that's better. This old lady came to the bank I work at to withdraw $10. I told her that for withdrawals less than $100, she has to use the ATM. So she asked to withdraw $1,000 in $10 bills. It sucked, but I counted it out and handed her the money. She took $10, gave me $990 back, and said, "Deposit this." Did you know that the arrow in the Amazon logo points from A to Z to indicate that they sell? Yes, I did know that. America's big 4 rival pizza chains, Domino's, Papa John's, Pizza Hut, and Little Caesars, all but their cheese from the same man, James Leprino. He sells 1 billion pounds of cheese each year. The last what? When you realized American Gothic depicts a farmer and his daughter, not his wife. The internet meme Nyan Cat, the one originated from 25-year-old Christopher Torres from Texas, who created the animated GIF in 2011. In a live stream, 2 different people had suggested he draw a Pop-Tart and a cat, so he created a hybrid. The design was inspired by his pet cat, Marty, who died in 2012. A baby born on 11/11/11. Skyrim's release date was named Dovahkiin by the parents, and they received a lifetime of Bethesda games as a result. Imagine getting a cringe name for life, just so your parents can get a stream of bad games from a bad studio. 1 free game every 7 years, but it's always Skyrim. The longest work of fiction is a Super Smash Bros. Fanfiction called The Subspace Emissary World Conquest. That is 4 million words long and spans 220 chapters as of now. That is twice as long as the longest novel, Men of Goodwill, by Jules Romain, which is wow, that's a lot of words. Did you know the lower the number on the McDonald's ketchup, the sweeter it is, and the higher, the more sour? I did not know this, and I didn't even know they did this with the packets. This has to be old. I saw a TikTok that said MJ wore a hoodie on the Thriller cover album, so I had to look for myself. This man is in a zip-up hoodie with a suit. Ew, Michael, what is this? How didn't I notice this? I mean, I could say it doesn't work, but I mean, you probably had loads of stylists, so I guess it does work.